W.B. Mason, and the Yankee Foundations.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Fenway Park.
From Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, Nesson presents coverage of Boston Red Sox baseball. Tonight, the Red Sox begin a 3-game series with the New York Yankees. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Boston Red Sox baseball. I'm Bob Rogers. He's Sam Horn, and this is what it's all about. The Red Sox will go into the series 3.5 games out of first place. They give the ball to their ace, Pedro Martinez, and this is the way it's all lined up for the ball club.
They talk about table setting. The table is set basically for a great, entertaining weekend. We're hoping that the Red Sox definitely can come out and keep the best offense going because we got our best pitcher going tonight.
Well, Pedro Martinez, last time out, Sam, he looked sluggish. He looked like he was tired. Looked like he was suffering from the after effects of his illness. They say now, though, that he feels a lot stronger.
And you know, anytime you have a Pedro that's 100%, he's not going to be serving the ball up like that. Of course, he was just coming off of the sickness. Both pitchers started off shaky, but Pedro was able to settle down, but it was a little too late.
And Sam, one thing we know about Pedro Martinez, he's a proud man. I mean, exactly. He was not happy what happened against the Yankees on national television. I mean, so he's going to come out tonight looking to make a statement.
And I believe that he will, because you know, anytime he's able to come out and toe hold the rubber, when he's on, he's on. And definitely tonight is his night. We'll get a chance to see if he's able to come back and pitch from a week ago.
All right, you talk about star power. Pedro has it.
Right.
Nomar's supposed to have it. Right, here's the guy that you're going to build your team around. Great player at Fenway Park. He struggled mercifully on the road. I mean, he has really been bad on the road. But at Yankee Stadium, Sam, in all those games, he has just 5 hits. He's hitting a .167, 5 for 30 at Yankee Stadium. He's got to come up tonight and be Nomar Garciaparra.
Right, and what I see is, as you see in this right here, he's swinging at the balls out in front. If you swing and start your swing too early, you're susceptible to bad pitches, and I think that's what Nomar does. You don't want to get in a hole. He's trying too hard, and you couple that with trying to win the series, you got someone that's going to put extra pressure on himself.
He has to say, boys, jump on my back this weekend
carry you.
Because I'm going to carry you. I'm going to be the captain of this ball club.
And he is, and definitely everyone knows Nomar is giving 100% out there, and that's probably sometime the reason why he's not able to fulfill the things that we want him to do. But today's a new day.
All right, this is the game 1 of a 3-game weekend series. It's time for Boston Red Sox baseball. Enjoy the game. The ballpark with Sean and Jerry.
Sold out as usual. The Red Sox and Yankees get together, crowded in the neighborhood of 55,000 on hand for the start of a great weekend. Red Sox and Yankees in September, when the games mean something in the standings for both teams. Yankees lead the season series 9-7 after taking 2 out of 3 last weekend from the Red Sox at Fenway Park. But since then, the Red Sox have won 3 in a row to start this 9-game road trip. Red Sox lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. And as the Red Sox go for their 4th straight win, Grady Little as Johnny Damon, the center fielder, leading off. Bill Miller at third base. Nomar Garciaparra, the shortstop. Manny Ramirez in left field. He's the cleanup hitter. The red-hot David Ortiz, the DH. Kevin Millar playing first base and batting 6th. Then Jason Varitek, the catcher. Trot Nixon in right field. And Lou Merlone will get the start at second base and bat 9th.
And the defense tonight for the Yankees, they are 10th in the American League with 94 errors on the season. It's Aaron Boone at third base. Enrique Wilson, he'll probably be there all weekend as Derek Jeter may not play at all against the Red Sox. Alfonso Soriano at second and Nick Johnson at first. Left to right, Hideki Matsui, Bernie Williams, and Kareem Garcia. Jorge Posada doing the catching, and on the mound, left-hander Andy Pettit. 17-7 on the season for Pettit, the 4.01 ERA. He is currently on a 4-game winning streak and is very, very tough on the Red Sox. In his career, 13-4 so far this season, 3-0 with a 2.38 ERA.
The Red Sox have hit just 190 as a team against Andy Pettit this year, far below the Red Sox team batting average for the season of 291. Some quick math, as a matter of fact, reveals it's 101 points below the Red Sox team batting average. As usual, plenty of Red Sox fans in attendance. And a spirited gathering on hand to watch the latest renewal of one of the great rivalries in all of sports. As a matter of fact, if you name a better one, we'd like to hear about it. Here's the first pitch of the weekend from Pettit. A fastball inside corner, belt high for a strike, says home plate umpire Joe West. 74 delightful degrees at game time. Damon at 273, 11 homers, 54 runs batted in. And a ball away, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Pettit with the most wins on the Yankee team. He has been very steady all season long.
Damon drops down a bunt. Nick Johnson with nobody covering first. Neither Alfonso Soriano nor Andy Pettit covered first base, and Johnson was a long way from the bag. No chance to beat Damon, so it's a bunt hit to open the night for Johnny.
And once the ball got by Andy Pettit, he just stopped. He has to continue on to first base to try to take that throw from Nick Johnson. Once Johnson spins around, there's nobody there. He's looking for Pettit, but Pettit just stopped between the pitcher's mound and first base. Perfect bunt by Johnny Damon.
18th infield hit of the season for Damon. That leads the Red Sox, as you might expect. He's also their leading base stealer with 26 and has been thrown out 5 times trying to steal. The batter is switch hitter Bill Miller. And he fists one foul into the stands and right. Miller hitting .319. He's been in a slump. He has 17 homers and has driven in 74. He's just 3 for his last 24. A 125 average over his last 8 games. Still very much in the race for the American League batting title. At the moment, he's just 3 points behind the co-league leaders, Derek Jeter, the Yankees, who, as Jerry mentioned, is unlikely to play this weekend, and Maglio Ordonez of Chicago. They're just 1 point ahead of Cleveland's Milton Bradley. Then it's Miller tied for 4th with Garrett Anderson and Omar Garcia Parra, who stands on deck. Headed ahead of Miller, 0-2. Bills hit .305 right-handed, and a pitch out. Damon not on the run.
Incredibly, Andy Pettit does not have a pick-off all season long, but that shouldn't be unusual because guys don't get big leads against him. He's had tremendous amount in his career, over 60, and you will see a lot of Red Sox base runners with very short leads at first base.
Well, the rest of baseball doesn't know by now that he has perhaps the best pickoff move in baseball. They never will know. Now 31 years old, a Louisiana native, lives in Deer Park, Texas. In the dirt, dug out by Posada.
Take a look at the scouting report on Andy Pettit. Of course, fastball, when he cuts that fastball, breaks a lot of bats of right-handed hitters. He's got the curveball slider. Opponents only hitting .151 against that slider. He also throws a changeup, and as we mentioned, that great move to first base.
He comes to the plate with a 2-2, and it's grounded foul wide of third. While the Red Sox were winning 3 games in a row, the makeup game in Philadelphia on Monday, and then the 2 games in Chicago on Tuesday and Wednesday, the Yankees and Joe Torre lost 2 out of 3 in Toronto. Had they been swept, the Red Sox would have come here with a chance to be alone in first place at the end of the weekend with a sweep. Now the best the Red Sox can do is be a half game out. They'd certainly be very happy with that, leaving New York on Sunday.
It's crazy, Sean. You know, the Yankees are in first place, but it seems like there's a lot more pressure on them than on the Red Sox at this point. There's been a lot of criticism from the owner, George Steinbrenner, about Torre, about his coaching staff, about the way the team has played. Another 2-2 to Miller. And he
ball for the first out of the ball game.
Last time Pettit faced the Red Sox at Fenway Park, he had 7 strikeouts in that ball game. He did not walk anybody. That's the third ball for the strikeout against Bill Miller.
Here's Nomar, like Miller, ahead of him, slumping a bit, down to 319, 23 homers and 91 runs batted in. He's 2 for his last 18 over the last 4 games. Very much alive in his quest for his 3rd American League batting title. He was the American League hitting champ in 1999 and 2000. Gaiman still at first with 1 out and a foul ball off to the right.
It's amazing when you look at the top 10, Sean, that Ichiro has dropped to number 10 with a 316 average. He's really been in a terrible skid.
He looked for a while like he was going to run away with the American League batting crown. He's had a gruesome second half, and as a result, the Mariners have limped through the second half of the season. How about the series they just had down in Tampa? They couldn't score any runs against that Devil Rays pitching staff. Only Milton Bradley of Cleveland has hit for a higher average against left-handed pitching in the American League this year than Nomar's 382. Facing one of the best lefties in the league right here. Slowly past the mound, charged by Wilson. High throw, and Garciaparra is safe. The throw was high and to the right field side of the bag. And it's been scored a hit for Garciaparra. Perhaps even with an accurate throw, Nomar would have beaten the throw from Wilson. So the Red Sox with 2 men on, despite the fact that they've barely gotten both balls past the mound.
Yeah, there's a good example of Derek Jeter not in the lineup. That could have been an out. There you see a lot of spin on that ball. No glove put on it by Andy Pettit, but the off-balance throw is high at first base, and the Red Sox got a couple of hits, strange hits here in the first inning. The bunt base hit by Damon, and that little slow roller by Garciaparra.
And now Ramirez in his 2nd game back after sitting out with the illness and then the 1-day benching in Chicago. Returned to action in the last game of that series 2 nights ago. The Red Sox had an off day yesterday. And Manny returned with a 2-for-4 game to extend his hitting streak to 9. He's very much alive in the race for the batting title at 318. He is the defending batting champion in the American League. .31 homers and 90 runs batted in for the season for Ramirez as he returns to the area in which he grew up, not far from Yankee Stadium. Borderline strike. Ramirez thought it was low, and Manny, who very rarely says anything to an umpire, has several things to say to Joe West, and that gets Grady Little up out of his seat in the dugout.
Looked like the ball might have been a little bit low to Ramirez, and you're right, Sean. He very, very seldom says anything at all to an umpire.
And Joe West is one of those umpires who seems to be a lightning rod, so we'll have to watch that tonight. Base hit in right field. Damon being waved around by Mike Cubbage, and he will score as Garcia throws it in towards second base. Manny Ramirez with a base hit to right, and the Red Sox lead 1-0.
Well, Ramirez, who did not have an at-bat against live pitching for about a week, went back into the lineup a couple of days ago, had 2 hits, and now picks up the opposite field base hit against Andy Pettit. .414 hitter is Ramirez against Pettit coming into the game. Gets that base hit and drives in his 91st run. So no baseball has been exactly crushed in this inning, but the Red Sox do have the 1-0 lead.
They jumped out early against Andy Pettit last Saturday afternoon at Fenway Park, but Pedro Martinez could not protect the lead. He'll have the lead as he takes the mound tonight. At least a 1-run lead. David Ortiz would like to pat it. He hits it on the ground, base hit in a right. Garcia-Parra being waved around, and he will score. The throw goes toward third. Ramirez is safe. And the Red Sox lead 2-0. David Ortiz wastes no time in remaining red hot. He was the star Wednesday night in the 10-inning win in Chicago with a couple of homers and 4 runs batted in. And he's driven in another with his first swing of the night.
There cannot be a more hot hitter in the American League or in baseball right now than David Ortiz is. That throw to third base by Kareem Garcia. Aaron Boone really never held on to the baseball. The throw beat Manny, but he couldn't get it in the glove and slap the tag on. Ortiz continues to deliver big hits for the Red Sox.
He's now 6 for 12 on this road trip with 7 runs batted in 3+ games. Here's Millar. And you better pound away at Pettit while you can. The Red Sox saw that last Saturday. You have the opportunity to slap him around. You have to take advantage of it. 2 runs in, first and third, 1 out, and a strike in on Millar. Hitting .279, 22 homers, 85 runs batted in. The problem for Pettit has not been the count. He's been working ahead to these Red Sox hitters. Really very few well-hit balls, really, if any. What did you say, Ortiz's was the hardest hit, and even that wasn't a rope.
No, that was a little topspin ground ball on a curveball from Pettit.
Down swinging, gone on 3 pitches. Comes on a pitch down and in, so both outs for Pettit have been via the strikeout.
Andy Pettit goes to the slider down and in against Millar to pick up the strikeout. The second strikeout of the inning. It was the curveball to get Miller, and now the either cut fastball or slider from Pettit to get Millar.
2-0 Boston in the first. Runners at first and third, 2 outs. For the 7th batter of the inning, Jason Varitek. The switch hitting catcher at .276, 23 homers, 80 runs batted in. He hit his 23rd home run of the season Wednesday in Chicago. That was a big home run. It tied the game at 2 in the 7th inning. Jason looked at ball 1, and now the 1-0 pitch. Flipped out of play to the right. Pedro Martinez waiting to go to work. And he's always fired up, Jerry, but you have to think tonight he'll be especially pumped and jacked, as a former Patriots coach used to say. Swing and a miss. Veritek.
Well, it's clear last time out, Sean, he was not 100%, and it's embarrassing to him when he has that kind of an outing. I'll tell you what, though, the Yankees always battle Pedro Martinez time.
Pedro clearly seemed to be feeling the after effects of the illness that cost him some time when he did pitch in that last start last weekend. Barely got to 90 on the radar gun and just looked a little bit off throughout. Veritek laid off the low one. Evening the count at 2-2. They've made Pettit work here in the first. He's thrown 24 pitches. Ramirez the runner at third, and Ortiz at first. Damon and Garcia-Parra have already scored. The 2-2 to Veritek. Line to left. He got a hanger and did not miss it, and here comes Ramirez to make it 3-0.
Now, Pettit's made a number of good pitches in this inning, but that last pitch was not a good pitch from Pettit. You said it, Sean. It was a hanger, and Jason Varitek, strong from the right side all season long, jumps all over it. Line drive to left field, and the Red Sox spot Pedro Martinez with at least 3 runs to work with. I'll say one thing.
5 singles in the inning.
This edition of the Red Sox club is not intimidated by this Yankee club.
No. Here's Trod Nixon in there against the lefty Pettit tonight, and he rattled the cage of Posada with a foul ball. 312 for Nixon, 26 homers. 85 runs batted in. Nor should they be intimidated, Jerry. I think certainly the talent gap has closed in recent years as the Yankees have been winning the division. They've had the better team. If they have the better team now, it's not by much, and maybe not at all.
Exactly. There are some definite holes, and I'll tell you, when you look at this Yankee team, if these veteran starting pitchers do not pitch well as they head toward postseason, if they get there and then in postseason, they're not going to win anything.
No.
Because the team on the field is not as good as what they've had in the past. The bullpen is not good. So it's really going to be how far these veteran starting pitchers can take them.
And tonight, the veteran Pettit has had a tough time here in the first. He strikes out the side, but the Red Sox get 3 runs on 5 singles. And after a half inning, it's Boston 3 and the Yankees coming up. Red Sox lead 3-0 after a half inning here in New York. The Yankees starting lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. New York 84-54 on the season, the best record in the American League. The Yankees have Alfonso Soriano at second base, Nick Johnson at first, Bernie Williams the center fielder. Jason Giambi the DH tonight, Jorge Posada the catcher, Hideki Matsui in left field hitting 6th. Then Aaron Boone at third base, Kareem Garcia in right field, and Enrique Wilson the shortstop to bat 9th against Pedro Martinez.
Pedro 10-4 in the season. The 2.52 ERA is still second best in the American League to Esteban Loaiza. Pedro is 4th in the league in strikeouts with 169. 8-8 in his career against the Yankees. 0-1 this season.
And he induces a swing and a miss from Alfonso Soriano for strike 1. Soriano's average way off where you would expect it to be at 278, 29 homers, 73 runs batted in. And a strike at the knees. Pedro quickly ahead 0-2.
It's like Pedro's changed his glove tonight. He's going back to that red glove.
One and two now. Soriano 3 for his last 19. He did hit a solo homer in their win yesterday at Toronto. His only hit in 5 trips. A tough play for Garcia Parra on the move, and Millard digs it out for the out. First base coach Lee Mazzilli tried to steal the call, but he was clearly out. And a nice play on both ends, Garcia Parra and Millard.
John, there's no way that I thought a ball could be hit this far to the right of Garcia Parra and be able to throw Soriano out at first base. He couldn't have been running hard out of the batter's box. Nomar had to go a long way. The off-balance throw, the nice pick by Millard, and he's out by a half a step.
He was certainly running hard at the end.
At the end he was, yeah.
Nick Johnson, the batter, hitting .306, 11 homers and 42 runs batted in. And Pedro quickly ahead of him, 0-2. Johnson's a patient hitter, walks a lot. He's walked 55 times in just 242 at bats. He's been a hot hitter, 10 for his last 21, including 2 for 5 yesterday in Toronto. He's hit in 5 straight games. He got jammed and fouled one back to the left.
Pedro trying to work him inside. He had a big game the last time Pedro started. 4 hits in that ball game. This guy's just going to be a real good hitter. He already is a good hitter, and he's just going to keep getting better.
The 1-2 pitch. Foul tip, says Jason Varitek, but Joe West says no. On a check swing by Johnson, 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 91-mile-per-hour fastball for the first strikeout of the night for Pedro, and the second out of the first inning.
Let's take a look at the Red Sox defense. They're 7th in the league. They've made 90 errors on the season. Bill Miller at third base. Nomar the shortstop. Lou Merlone at second base and Kevin Millar at first. Left to right, Manny Ramirez, Johnny Damon, and Trot Nixon. Jason Varitek doing the catching for Pedro Martinez. Interesting at bat there. Everything was inside to Johnson, and finally gets him with the fastball up and away.
There's Bernie Williams, and he takes strike one. He's had a disappointing year, hitting just .271, 10 homers, 51 runs batted in. More and more Yankee fans starting to grumble a little bit about Bernie, as he's not been running down as many balls in the outfield as he once did. 4 for his last 27 and 8 for his last 52. Here's Bernie. That'll get the folks grumbling a little bit about it.
Yeah, remember too that Bernie Williams had knee surgery earlier this year too, and it takes a while to get back to 100%. And I don't think Bernie Williams, with the numbers he's putting up and the way he's playing center field, is back to 100%.
He was very late at that 91-mile-per-hour fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Chance for an easy 1-2-3 first inning for Pedro. Red Sox lead 3-0. They scored 3 on 5 singles in the top of the first. Right down the middle, strike 3. Pedro strikes out 2 in a 1-2-3 first inning after 1. 3-0 Red Sox. Time for League Leaders, brought to you by
Red Sox Rewind, NESN's new 30-minute magazine show. A week's worth of player profiles, interviews, highlights, and more. After an exciting week in Red Sox Nation, tune in to Red Sox Rewind Sunday at noon and also Sunday after W.B. Mason's extra innings.
3-0. As Lou Merlone, the number 9 hitter, begins the second against Andy Pettit. Similar start to the game last Saturday at Fenway Park when the Red Sox got 3 in the first against Pettit and led 3-0. Merlone 2 for 5 since coming back to the Red Sox from San Diego with an RBI, a memorable RBI, and that little nubber down the third base line Monday afternoon in Philadelphia in the 9th inning. In the game Saturday at Fenway, the Red Sox got 3 in the first. Yankees got 2 in the third off Pedro. Red Sox responded with 1 to make it 4-2, but then New York got 3. Pedro was out of the game after 4 innings, and New York went on to a 10-7 win. A leadoff walk. That's the first walk given up by Pettit. The Red Sox have the lead man on for the second inning in a row, to the chagrin of pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre.
Strange start to this game for Andy Pettit. His 3 outs in the first inning coming on 3 strikeouts, but he did give up 3 runs, and now he walks the number 9 hitter in the lineup to lead off the second inning.
You mentioned earlier he didn't walk anybody last Saturday at Fenway Park. And he's thrown another ball to Johnny Damon. He had a bunt hit on the right side of the infield to get the 3-run first inning off and running. Pettit has won 6 straight starts against the Red Sox here at Yankee Stadium dating back to 2001. He's 8-2 against the Red Sox in his career here. 5-2 at Fenway. And he has a well-deserved reputation for being a great big game pitcher. Has come through for the Yankees time and time again down the stretch in the regular seasons, and particularly in postseason play. The 2-1 to Damon, up and in.
Left-handers actually have a higher batting average against Andy Pettit than right-handers do. That's one of the reasons Damon in the lineup tonight. Of course, Nixon was a little bit of a surprise. He hadn't been playing against lefties recently. And 0 for 7 coming into the game tonight, but Grady said, we're playing the Yankees. I want Nixon in the lineup.
The 1 pitch on the inside corner. See if The Red Sox have Lou Merlone running with nobody out on a 3-2 pitch to Damon. He is, and Damon just did get a piece of it.
Grady Little runs almost every single situation when it's 3-2, regardless of the speed of the runner at first base. He's banking on contact from Johnny Damon. He better get it here because we mentioned it's awfully tough to get a jump against Andy Pettit.
And Lou Merlone is not Lou Brock.
In Framingham he is.
And yes, he is, and deservedly so. Damon rolls it on the right side. Soriano, the underhand toss to Johnson, and Merlone is in scoring position with 1 out.
So Damon does make the contact, and the Red Sox are able to get Merlone into scoring position. Had he not been going on this, they would have been able to go to second to get the lead man. They wouldn't have got a double play, but they would have got the lead man to keep him out of scoring position.
Red Sox lead 3-0. They're out hitting the Yankees 5-0 here in the second inning. Bill Miller, the batter. He struck out swinging in the first. Chops that one over by the Red Sox dugout.
Well, the Red Sox had the benefit of having a day off here yesterday in New York after finishing that series in Chicago, getting here late on Wednesday night, but yesterday a complete day off while the Yankees were up playing Toronto and arrived very late back here in New York after going through customs and all that stuff.
Miller sends it in the air to right. Garcia didn't have far to go. Merlone was not tagging. He went back after the catch and almost had a chance to advance. That was an errant throw by Garcia, and Pettit, who was backing up third, had to move quickly to prevent that ball from clanging around over by the dugout.
Well, with nobody out, you'd probably be back tagging up on that if you Lou Merlone. With 1 out, you play it almost halfway. And this throw here by Garcia, I mean, misses 1, 2, and backed up by Andy Pettit in front of the Red Sox dugout. Was only off by about 20 feet.
Looked like Vinny Testaverde last night. New York fans who are already grumbling about the Jets, 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 Jets.
What a strange game that was. It was exciting that first quarter and then nothing after that.
Here's Garcia Parra. Trying to deliver Merlone, and he lines one to left, and that's going to drop. Matsui couldn't get it. Plays it on a hop. Merlone around to score on a long single by Garcia Parra. 4-0 Boston. Nomar 2 for 2 against Pettit.
That'll be a perfect time for Garcia Parra to get hot. As you mentioned, Sean, 2 for 18 coming into this ball game, slumping at the beginning of this trip, but that breaking ball down and in, not far enough down and in for Pettit. And Garcia Parra cleans it out with the base hit down the line. Matsui did actually a nice job getting over to cut that off. But the 4th run comes across, a 2-out base hit for Nomar.
And the RBI, Nomar's 92nd of the year. He's now the league leader with 186 hits. Here's Manny Ramirez, who singled to right to drive in the Red Sox first run. He scored the 3rd run last inning. Jerry mentioned the dominant numbers against Pettit with the hit, now 25 for 59. That one looked pretty good. Pettit didn't get the call. And he's thrown 44 pitches already. Couple that the Yankee battery thought they had. Now Pettit glaring in at Joe West. Am I right in saying Joe was the home plate umpire earlier in the year, that game when Brandon Lyon and Veritek thought they threw the ball right down the middle at the end of the game and didn't get the call?
I think you're right, Sean. Yep.
Ball 4. Very rare that you see Andy Pettit act demonstrably on the mound, but he's clearly a little agitated right now too. He certainly isn't happy with the way this is going, and Joe West adding to his aggravation a little bit.
It was interesting. Manny's first at bat, he had that one call that he complained about, and that at bat, every call went in Ramirez's direction. Pettit wanted to know if it was being called a ball because it was too high, and then West said no, because it was outside.
Well, sometimes you wonder why Major League Baseball does this. I mean, Joe West is universally known around baseball. Not a very good umpire. He's very confrontational. And here you have one of the biggest series of the year, and you start the series with Joe West being the home plate umpire. Let's hope we don't have anything like what the Cubs and Cardinals had with the umpires over those 5 games. They just played at Wrigley.
That was ugly.
That was ugly. Umpiring much too much a part of that story. It was the Cubs who were most angry with the umpires, and they wound up winning 4 out of the 5 games. David Ortiz singled in a right to knock in a run. Is it 6 homers against the Yankees this year? There's strike 2. 0-2. David is now 14 for his last 25. And has driven in 22 runs in his last 14 games. 1 run in this inning. The Red Sox with 2 more base runners. Garcia Parra at second. And Ramirez at first. With 2 outs. And the 0-2 to Ortiz is low and away. Check swing at a high fastball. Larry Lucchino, Red Sox president and CEO, in attendance on the left of your screen.
Stacy Lucchino. It's like George Mitchell in that second row.
Ortiz strikes out. Red Sox get a run. They strand 2, and after an inning and a half, it's 4-0 Boston. In game 1 of a 3-game series, the final regular season series head-to-head for the Red Sox and Yankees in 2003. The Red Sox lead 4-0. They have 6 hits already, all of them singles against Andy Pettitte. Pedro Martinez pitched a 1-2-3 first with 2 strikeouts. He throws ball 1 down and in to Jason Giambi. His average way down from where it ordinarily is, 250. 36 homers and 95 runs batted in for Giambi.
And he's really been struggling. Only 1 for his last 29. Red Sox do have the infield shift on him with nobody on base.
Swing and a miss at the changeup, 1-2. Be a career 300 major league hitter. Hit above 300 each of the last 4 years. Swing and a miss. He busted him inside with a fastball. 3 strikeouts in a row for Martinez.
Now, even though that fastball only clocked at 91, there is better life on his fastball tonight than we saw last time he faced the Yankees. Had 3 strikeouts total in 4 innings last time out. He's got 3 in a row now in this ball game. That fastball up and in on Giambi.
Even though the Red Sox had the quick lead, you could tell early on that Pedro wasn't himself in that game last Saturday. He looks much different, much better tonight.
Yeah, there was no life on his pitches. There was no location on his pitches last week.
He threw ball 1 to Jorge Posada. Tried to check his swing and could not. 1-1. 273 for Posada. 27 homers, 80 runs batted in. Jorge Shohei hit 2 homers for the Yankees. One off Martinez and one off Young Kim last Saturday at Fenway Park. He had the big day leading them to that 10-7 win. Two and two now.
Speaking of Kim, I don't think you'll see him in a close game in the 9th inning against the Yankees. That's not to say he won't pitch against the Yankees, but I don't think he's a lock to be closer in this series. The Yankees have just tore him up.
Swing and a miss. 4 straight strikeouts for Pedro. He's retired the first 5 Yankee hitters of the night.
First 3 strikeouts for Martinez on the fastball. This time it's the curveball to Posada. Down and in off the plate. Posada can't hold up the swing. Really does not have control of the head of the bat. 4 strikeouts in a row for Martinez.
2 outs. The base is empty for Hideki Matsui, hitting .284. 15 home runs and 92 runs batted in. On the ground is short, right at Garcia Parra. Pedro pitched 2 perfect innings, and after 2, it's 4-0 Boston.
It's the same name, but a brand new show. NESN Sports Desk has a new look. It's a fast-paced 15 minutes of what you need to get your morning sports fix. NESN Sports Desk, mornings starting at 5. Now, back to Sean and Jerry.
Andy Pettitte's first pitch. A strike to Kevin Millar, who struck out swinging in the first. Red Sox batting in the 3rd with a 4-0 lead. They got 3 in the first and 1 in the 2nd. 6 hits and 2 walks allowed by Pettit. He has struck out 4. And on the hands and pulled foul by Millar. Cashman, right part of your screen, in the box with George Steinbrenner.
George has got a close watch on this game, doesn't he? With the binoculars out.
You might have needed those binoculars in the elevator tonight. The 2-2 pitch. He got on the elevator. A couple of young fans on the elevator. One of them standing behind him as he was looking down on the fan with a cornrow hairdo. And George said something along the lines of, "What a beautiful young lady." At which time he was told, "No, it's actually a young man." There's a base hit in the left center field for Millar.
It's been a strange season for the Yankees, for Steinbrenner, Joe Torre. There's been, it seems like, more pressure put on Torre through the course of the season. I think there's a little bit of jealousy there. You know, George likes to get the attention when the team wins, and he feels, I think, at times like George has got Torre has got too much of the attention. He's paying him $5 million a year. He's put together a payroll of what, $180 million. It's been an up and down season for the Yankees, and they still have the 3rd best record in baseball
and the best in the American League. Pettit takes a strike. He singled to left to knock in a run in the first inning. Certainly the boss is a complex man. I mean the boss here, not your pal, the boss who we're going to see tomorrow night at Fenway Park. How about when he got all over Derek Jeter, apparently saying you should have fewer nighttime activities and be more focused on baseball. Then he goes and does a credit card commercial with Jeter poking fun at that whole thing.
And it's a good commercial, too.
Very funny. One ball and 2 strikes now on Pettit.
That's Derek Jeter, who just saw the shot of him, probably out for the weekend. Strained ribcage muscle that he hurt actually at Fenway Park last weekend. Has not played since that. A 1-2 pitch to Jason. He struck him out.
been a strange start for Varitek, or rather for Pettit. He strikes out Varitek, giving up 7 hits, but he's also fanned 5.
Again, Pettit goes with that cut fastball down and into Varitek. He got the Millar to strike out on that pitch, and now he gets Varitek to strike out on that pitch. Millar, of course, in his first at bat.
Here's Nixon, who struck out swinging to end the first as the Red Sox stranded a couple. They left 2 more in the second. Boston leads 4-0. And Nixon hits a bullet toward the gap in right center. Cut off by Williams. On his way to third, Millar. And the Red Sox have first and third. And 1 out. That's 8 singles given up by Pettit through 2 1/3 innings.
And Trot Nixon coming into the game, a 209 hitter against left-handed pitching, and had never had a hit against Andy Pettit. Well, he does now. He is now 1 for 9 against Pettit in his career. Well, this start by the Red Sox, 8 hits, 4 runs, has really kept this Yankee Stadium crowd quiet. It's about as quiet as you'll hear this place.
And here's Lou Merlone. Red Sox with a chance to pad the lead. The ball down and in. Lou walked leading off last inning and scored. 4 runs, 8 hits for Boston. No runs, no hits for New York. Neither team has made an error. And a strike over the inside part of the plate. There is action now in the Yankee bullpen. Jeff Weaver has started warming up. Swing and a miss. 1-2. With the 5 strikeouts tonight, Pettit now has 1,254 for his career. That's 6th all-time in Yankee history. And he needs just 3 more to tie his pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre for 5th place. Merlone stays alive. Here's Mel. A little more difficult job for him this year with the bullpen such as it is for the Yankees. Not good. Another 1-2 to Merlone. Check swing at a ball just outside, perhaps a little bit low.
Andy Pettit so far has not got the benefit of the doubt on any close pitch, although that pitch, the way Posada caught that thing, did look like it was outside.
The 2-2 from Pettit is low and away.
And we'll see again if Nixon is going at first base on the 3-2 count and 1 out. As a middle infielder, if he's going, you've got to make an adjustment. If you can't get the double play, you've got to try to cut that run off at home plate.
Infield at double play depth. The outfield around toward right. They give Merlone some room in left center. Nixon is running, and the pitch is ball 4. And Merlone, the number 9 hitter, walks for the 2nd time in as many plate appearances, and this one loads the bases. And here comes Stottlemyre back to the mound. And the boss does not look happy. Probably can't be much fun to be Brian Cashman on a lot of nights, but particularly on a night like tonight. You have to sit in that box and listen to some of that stuff.
Do you think they dread it when George is in town? It's never comfortable. There's no question about that. But it's going to be awfully uncomfortable when he's sitting there and watching this go on.
So perhaps a chance to knock Pettit out of the ball game right here for the Red Sox. As they saw last weekend, he can suddenly get a lot better as he goes along. Johnny Damon had a bunt single and scored in the first, grounded out last inning, up for the third time in 3 innings. Down the line, a base hit. Out of the reach of Nick Johnson. Millar has scored. Nixon right behind. Merloni being waved in. The relay from Soriano not in time. 3 runs across for the Red Sox, and Damon winds up at third. It's 7-0.
Everybody in the infield playing in tight. They were playing double play jet in the middle infield, and Johnson was in close to the bag, and he'll have to go across the body, being the left-handed first baseman. Goes across the body, can't come up with it. Once it gets down in that corner, 3 runs for the Red Sox, and the early exit for Randy Pettitte. Millar scores, Nixon scores, and they just keep waving Maloney around. And the Red Sox build up a huge lead here early in this ball game on the triple by Johnny Damon.
And Pettit departs after 2 1/3 innings, his second shortest outing of the season. He lasted just an inning and 2/3 against the Cubs at Wrigley back in early June. 7-0 Boston. Will return to Yankee Stadium right after this.
Well, a tough night certainly for Andy Pettitte. 9 hits, 7 runs, still responsible for Johnny Damon at third base. The Red Sox with a 7-0 lead here in the 3rd inning. And Jeff Weaver taking over on the mound. Weaver 7-9 on the season.
And Miller greets him with a line drive, sinking fast. It drops in center for a hit. And the 8th run for the Red Sox. That'll be charged to Pettit and close the book on him. Miller was 0 for 2 against Andy. That has his first hit of the night. And a run batted in. And for Miller, that's RBI number 75.
It's that Weaver breaking ball down and away and just takes it into center field. You see the infield in. The ball drops in front of Bernie Williams. And the beat goes on here early in this game for the Red Sox. What a way to start a huge 3-game series.
The most runs given up by Pettit in a start this year. The 8 runs. Matching the 8 runs, but only 4 of them were earned. He gave up in a loss at Seattle back in May. All of them were earned tonight. Damon's triple, the only extra base hit among the 9 hits given up by Pettit. For the second Friday night in a row, Weaver in early. Last Friday night it was Contreras who got cuffed by the Red Sox and knocked out early. Garcia handles the fly ball from Garcia Parra. Nomar retired for the first time tonight. He's 2 for 3, a couple of singles, an RBI, and a run scored. He homered off Weaver last Friday night.
Another quick look at the stats for Jeff Weaver on the season. Of course, vanished to the bullpen. A ERA of 6.05. Opponent's batting average .320 against Jeff Weaver.
Ramirez after the first one. It's really kind of sad what's happened to this guy since he's come to New York. I mean, if he didn't pitch for the Yankees, you'd be really sad. But
yeah, I don't get it, Sean. I mean, this guy, you know, we saw him pitch in Detroit. We thought he was one of the bright young pitchers. Maybe he's just not made out to pitch here on the big stage.
And he wouldn't be the first about whom that could be said. He's ahead of Ramirez quickly 0-2. Red Sox lead 8-0. Manny with 2 career homers in 16 at-bats against Weaver. Weaver gave up 2 homers at Fenway last Friday. Does a good job here. He gets Ramirez to end the inning. But the Red Sox get 4 more to knock out Pettit. In the 3rd inning, it's 8-0 Boston. in 3 innings. And Pedro Martinez has thrown 2 perfect innings. He throws ball 1 to begin the 3rd to Aaron Boone. Pedro has struck out 4, the other 2 outs on ground balls to short. Boone, Garcia, and Wilson, the bottom 3rd coming up. Hit hard right to Bill Miller. Terrific play by Miller. He was in on the edge of the grass for Boone, had to react quickly and did for the first out of the inning.
Boone's another guy that has really struggled since coming to the Yankees. Was having a terrific year with Cincinnati. There's Miller making the catch on the line drive. But Boone, although recently has swung the bat a little bit better, only hitting .207 for the Yankees.
And with only 1 home run now in 112 at bats, he had 18 home runs in half a season for the Reds. More than half a season, 104 games. Here's Kareem Garcia. 1 ball on Garcia, hitting .267, 11 homers, 32 runs driven in. Pedro backs him off the inside corner. 2-0. Garcia had a good day yesterday in their win over Toronto. He went 3 for 4 with a double and drove into He did not play last Sunday at Fenway Park. He was excused by the Yankees to go to Mexico for the funeral of his aunt. Pop fly drifting toward the seats. But what a weekend this is in both cities. Here in New York, Jerry, you have the U.S. Open tennis going on. They've had a lot of problems with rain here trying to get the matches in, but the forecast is delightful for the rest of this weekend. Football season underway. The Jets played last night. Giants will play this weekend. Of course, up in New England, we're all looking forward to the Patriots in Buffalo this weekend, and the added drama now that lawyer Malloy has been let go by the Patriots and joined Buffalo, joined Drew Bledsoe. Red Sox, Yankees, Bruce Springsteen at Fenway Park. What a weekend.
And a lot going on.
A lot going on. The Rem Dog with his tailgate party tomorrow night at Fenway.
And you're going to be there, right?
I am. Woof, woof. I will look forward to being there.
And we get the day off tomorrow because it's nationally televised on Fox. And so we'll be flying back. I'll be flying back tomorrow. You're going back tonight.
Down the line, off the bag. Millard barehands it, flips to Martinez for the out. Well, when it's going your way, it's going your way, and it's certainly going the Red Sox way right now. Looked like the Yankees might catch a break when that ball hit the bag and went straight up in the air, but Millard able to barehand it, and Pedro Martinez showed good closing speed here, getting to the bag and just beating Garcia.
That's something you very seldom see when the baseball hits the bag that you recorded out on that play. There's Pedro busting into first base, and he, as you mentioned, Sean, really picks up speed to beat Garcia there, and the Red Sox pick up the out. Usually when the ball hits the bag, it's a base hit somewhere.
Yeah, usually a big problem for the team in the field. Wilson hits one high and deep down the right field line and foul.
You got to be kidding me. Enrique Wilson absolutely wears out Pedro Martinez. .444 batting average against Pedro, and he almost goes deep.
Yeah, that ball's in the upper deck. I mean, that looked like a ball Giambi might hit.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You got to wonder when Pedro's going to have enough of Enrique Wilson. Not fouled by very much either. Third deck.
Enrique grimacing. I might never hit a ball that far again. I don't think he's hit one up there in batting practice.
Enrique with 2 home runs on the season. That's where the big boys hit him up there.
Did one of your 7 go up there?
Not quite. I think mine went over that 385. It just dropped right over the 385 in right center. Of Catfish. And maybe not quite that deep. Maybe it was more to the right.
325 maybe. Or by that 314 down the line. Somehow Catfish still managed to get into the Hall of Fame after that catastrophe.
Incredible.
The 1-2 pitch. Pulled down the right field line again. This time a fair ball. Wilson on his way to second. That really is hard to explain. Pedro Martinez, one of the great pitchers of his generation. Enrique Wilson, a utility player. And when it comes to their one-on-one battles, Wilson has the upper hand.
Yeah, tries to jam him, tries to get that cut fastball inside, and Enrique Wilson clears it out and picks up the base hit. The first hit of the Yankees, and you kind of figured it'd be Enrique Wilson to get that off Pedro.
He's the first base runner for New York. Pedro was perfect for 2 2/3 innings. The Red Sox lead 8-0, bottom of the third, and the batter Alfonso Soriano. He grounded a short. Garcia Parra threw him out, a nice play moving into the hole, throwing on the run, and Millar with a good dig on the other end. Strike outside corner at the knees.
Been a lot of complaining about Soriano not having the type of numbers he did up a year ago, but he's got a bad thumb. And that thing has been bothering him for a long time. Still respectable, 29 home runs on the season. More than respectable. But the average not quite there. He struck out a lot.
Late swing at the fastball. I don't think you complain too much about a second baseman who hits you 29 homers and steals 31 bases.
The only thing that some of the New York media has said that Soriano, after this great success he's had early, is kind of a Cadillac a couple of times, not run balls out hard. And they're looking for Torrey or somebody to kind of jump on him a little bit and say, look, this game's not this easy.
Swing and a miss. Soriano strikes out. And Pedro has fanned 5 in the first 3 innings. 8-0 Boston. Brought to you by Bernie and Phil's Furniture. Let our family make your family comfortable. And by Infinity, makers of innovative high-performance premium vehicles. Pedro Martinez has shut out the Yankees on 1 hit through 3 innings. The Red Sox have scored in every inning. They've knocked Andy Pettitte out of the ball game as he gave up 8 runs on 9 hits and 2 1/3 inning. He walked 3 and struck out 5, and Jeff Weaver delivers ball 1 as we go to the 4th. David Ortiz single to right to drive in a run in the first. He struck out swinging to end the second. Ortiz, Millar, and Pettitte coming up. Weaver's pitched 2/3 of an inning, has given up 1 hit and has a strikeout. Bounced down to first to Nick Johnson, unassisted for the out. Well, it's Friday Night Baseball, and that means we are delighted to be joined by Dan Roach. Roachy.
All right, thank you very much, Sean. And we're delighted to be joined by Stacy Wakefield, the wife of Tim Wakefield. And coming up on Tuesday, September 16th, the Red Sox are holding a Wise Fashion Show. And in conjunction with that, they're having an online auction. And you can bid on some great things. And Stacy, tell us a little bit about some of the things people can bid on.
We have a lot of items, Red Sox items, one-of-a-kind items. We also have a lot of items from the shops at the Heritage on the Garden that they've donated. One of their items include preferred seating for 2 at the fashion show and luncheon we're hosting from Fenway to the runway on September 16th.
Nice autographed folding chair signed by Theo and Larry and the boys.
Right, and who else? Tom Werner and Grady Little.
Nice. And
if anyone else.
And how can people get in on, and bid on this?
Well, the auction started today, and they can log on to www.jimmyfunds.org/Fenway Runway. And that runs through September 12th. And it benefits the Gillette Center for Women's Cancers at Dana-Farber, so it's really for a great cause.
Nice, good, and good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
All right, and Sean and Jerry, she says that she would like as many runs at least when her husband pitches tomorrow against these Yankees. 8 would be nice, she says. Back to you guys.
Yeah, that would be nice, Roachy. Jason Varitek, the batter, after Kevin Millar bounced to third. I think there was enough traffic in that section Roachy and Stacy are sitting in.
Very busy, and that gentleman just to the left of Dan, he was booing from the row behind him there.
He was booing
Dan.
Or Stacy.
One of the two.
Varitek strikes out, an easy 1-2-3 inning for Weaver. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 8-0 Red Sox.
Provides more services for your car, like our $14.95 oil change. Monarchy Car Care Center. Right service, right price.
Back at Yankee Stadium, the Red Sox have the 8-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Well, family bargain games are back. Tickets still available for the Sox and the Devil Rays September 15th through the 18th, and most at 25% off. Tickets are available 24 hours a day by calling toll-free 877-RED SOX 9 at redsox.com or during business hours at Fenway Park.
Pedro Martinez pitching with a big lead. It's 8-0 Boston. Bottom of the fourth and a ball low to Nick Johnson. 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Yankees. Johnson struck out swinging in the first. That was the first of 4 strikeouts in a row for Pedro, who has fanned 5 and allowed just 1 base runner on a double by Enrique Wilson through 3 innings. Johnson, Bernie Williams, and Jason Giambi in the Yankee fourth. The hits of 10-1 for Boston. Out of play to the left. 1-2. Just inside. Red Sox begin the evening with a half-game lead over the Seattle Mariners in the race for the American League wild card. The Mariners are at Baltimore tonight, and that game is scoreless in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss. Johnson strikes out. That's 6 strikeouts for Pedro, and back-to-back strikeouts as he got Soriano to win the 3rd.
And the good sign for Pedro that the majority of his strikeouts so far in this game have been on the fastball, so certainly a great indication that Pedro obviously feeling better. The strength back is in his arm because that fastball has a bit more life on it than even in his last 2 outings.
Bernie Williams takes a changeup low. Bernie called out on strikes to end the first. All the other strikeouts have been swinging 3rd strikes for Pedro. (2-0) for Bernie Williams. The starting pitchers at Baltimore tonight: Gil Mesh for Seattle with a record of 14-10, and Jason Johnson, the big right-hander, 10-6 for Baltimore. Williams hits it in the air and pretty well to left. Manny was in pretty shallow, a long way back, and he makes the catch.
Manny, 2 outs. Manny,
and
2
Manny
outs.
thinks it's the 3rd out. He caught the ball and flipped it into the crowd, and a little bit embarrassed with that sheepish grin. Held up the 2 fingers toward the umpire, and Pedro trying to suppress a laugh.
Well, Manny's just being Manny, as we like to say. He makes a great play on this. He had a long way to go back to the wall, makes a terrific play, and then thinking that's the 3rd out, will just fire the ball up into the stands. He's got his head down running back in, and everybody in the ballpark, with the exception of Manny, knows there's 2 outs.
Well, you can laugh when it's 8-0. Giambi hits it a long way. Manny's pretty sure that's the 3rd out. A 1, 2, 3, perhaps 4, 5 inning. After 4, 8-0 Red Sox. Red Sox lead 8-0. Pedro and Manny still all cracked up over the confusion and the number of outs. Tron Nixon leads off the 5th against Jeff Weaver with a swing and a miss for strike 1. Nixon struck out down the 1st. He singled and scored in the 4-run 3rd. Right off the end of the bat. Well, they're certainly enjoying this tonight in Randolph. It's the big hits on the big screen event going on tonight. 400 lucky contest winners are watching this Red Sox-Yankees rivalry on the big screen at Showcase Cinema. The theater's been outfitted to look like Fenway Park for our 2 MCs there tonight. Nixon strikes out. Our pals, Nightcast co-anchors Sarah Underwood and Ted Wayman. They have to be having a great time tonight. What a great way to watch a ball game anyway. I don't know, though, if the on-camera part they like. Imagine the two of us.
That big screen.
On a big screen.
Ooh.
We're not exactly oil paintings. And when HD TV comes out, Jerry, we're going to have to finally give in and go for the makeup.
I can't do it. I can't do it. They're gonna have to shoot us from center field. I just can't go to the makeup.
No,
I can't do it. The only guy that's going to look all right is Wally. He looks the same all the time.
HD TV, all of our imperfections, as we say,
but that's why they're
really going to show up.
That's why people. I mean, you are what you are, right?
That's exactly right. Remember one time I was doing a network TV game, big game, bowl game. They had a makeup artist come, and I said, "What's the point of this? You know, kind of like putting a dress on a pig. You know, you only make it look so good."
I mean, if you cared, you'd have had a rug about 5-6 years ago. I mean, a system.
A system. I think there was an announcer on Monday Night Football last night who had a system.
I think you're right.
And it wasn't Lisa Guerrero. Maloney has already walked twice. That was against Andy Pettit, and he's battled to a full count. Lewis scored twice as well.
You're afraid of Lou tonight. 2 walks on the count to 3-2.
And he hits it hard and through the left side. So Weaver had retired 6 in a row. Before that base hit, he gave up a hit to the first man he faced, Miller, but then put down 6 Red Sox batters before this 1-out single here in the 5th inning.
It's interesting, you know, prior to Lou getting here, Damian Jackson was getting a lot of the starts at second base against left-handers. Now, of course, it's Maloney getting quite a bit of time over there. You got to wonder how that sits with Jackson, who's really been here all season. They kind of keeping him as a late in the game guy to go in and steal on base, maybe play defense for you.
Johnny Damon got under that one just a little bit. Bernie Williams calls off Garcia to make the catch. Damon's now 2 for 4. He had the big hit that knocked out Andy Pettit, a 3-run triple in the 3rd inning.
Well, the Red Sox will team up with the American Red Cross and Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center to host a blood drive September 11th at Fenway Park. The drive will run from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the 406 Club. Donors receive a Red Sox gift bag, be entertained by Red Sox personalities while they wait. You can help support Save Lives, so please join us September 11th supporting the important effort.
And that is the Red Sox way of commemorating the awful events of September 11th of 2 years ago. And what better way to remember the folks who lost their lives than to do something to help save lives. Bill Miller, the batter.
It's amazing, Sean. I have a room here at the hotel that we stay at, and as I look out my window,
called a suite, Jerry. Don't be modest. It's a suite.
Whatever it is. Anyway, I look south, and where the Twin Towers used to stand, it's just an eerie, you know, feeling looking down in that direction
and not seeing the towers.
Exactly. It's amazing.
3-0 the count on Miller. Of course, out in Monument Park, there's a commemorative plaque with the Yankee fans who filed through. Know that those dreadful events and the way New York has responded so valiantly will never be forgotten. Miller walks. The first walk given up by Weaver. And the Red Sox try to get something done with 2 outs. Maloney at second and Miller at first. And the batter is Nomar Garcia-Parra. 2 singles and a fly ball to right for Nomar. He scored after an infield hit in the first. He singled to left to drive in a run in the second. Red Sox lead 8-0. They have 11 hits to the Yankees 1. A win tonight would get them within 2.5 of the Yankees in the American League East, with 2 games left here this weekend. The last 2 head-to-head for the Red Sox and the Yankees. Roger Clemens and Tim Wakefield, the starting pitchers here tomorrow. David Wells and Jeff Suppan on Sunday. Nomar had a big swing but didn't get all of that one. A routine fly to left handled by Matsui. To end the inning, the Red Sox strand 2. They've left 7, but halfway through the ball game they lead 8-0. Sean McDonough, Jerry Remy, and Dan Roach at Yankee Stadium. Very quiet, relatively speaking, tonight. The Red Sox got 3 runs in the first to jump out to the quick lead. They now lead 8-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. The Yankees have had just 1 base runner against Pedro Martinez on a 2-out double by Enrique Wilson in the 3rd. It'll be Jorge Posada to begin the 5th inning, then Hideki Matsui and Aaron Boone. Breaking ball for strike 1 to Posada, who struck out swinging in the 2nd. Pedro has struck out 6. Change-up swung on and missed. Meanwhile, down in Baltimore, the Orioles have taken a 1-0 lead over Seattle in the 5th inning. Seattle having a dreadful time scoring runs.
Now this week, Sean, has really been what the Red Sox have kind of been about all season long. They lose the 2 out of 3 to the Yankees at Fenway Park. They go for a tough game in that makeup game. They win that one, go on to Chicago, beat them 2 games.
Ground ball on the base hit to the left by Posada. Here's Dan Roach.
All right, so thank you very much, Sean. We're joined by Red Sox President and CEO Larry Lucchino. And Larry, other than that Posada single, things are looking pretty good tonight.
Yes, Pedro looks, I don't want to jinx him here, but he looks like vintage old Pedro, and it's a great night here thus far. But it's only the 5th inning, Dan. Let's cool our jets until it's over.
What'd you think of your left fielder being your left fielder on the fly ball there?
Yeah, well, we missed the first catch here and the hug in the outfield. We could people were standing around us, so we had trouble seeing it. But he's got a couple of hits and a walk, and he's certainly contributing tonight.
Larry, Kevin Millar told me before the game that maybe the way things worked out with the Manny situation, the way it was handled from top to bottom, that it might end up being a good thing as we watch a potential double play here. What are your thoughts on what we saw and the way everything worked out with Manny?
Well, I think Grady Little had a very good week. I think he handled the matter very well. I think he knew he had the support of the front office, and I think it's just time to move on. I think that's, in all fairness, that's yesterday's news.
Let's talk a little bit about the other boss coming to Fenway Park tomorrow. The Rem Dog officially inviting you to his party atop the Green Monster tomorrow. You and Stacy, you in?
Oh, really? Oh, it's a little late, Rem Dog. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? Like, now what is it? Less than 24 hours before. But yes, we'll come. We'll go anywhere we're invited.
You're not going to stay here with the other boss, are you?
No, actually, I'm going to go. Stacy and I are going to go back tomorrow to be at the concert tomorrow night.
So we're in enemy territory. No parting shots to the evil empire?
No. Although I did call Randy Levine today, the president of the Yankees, to inquire about a matter, and he knew it was me on the line, and he picked up the phone and said, "Evil empire." So I thought showed a nice sense of humor.
Larry, thanks, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Dan.
Sean, Jerry, back to you guys.
Thank you, Rochi and Larry Lucchino. These Yankee folks aren't laughing right now.
No. The boss
wasn't here. Would be tested when it's 8-0. Aaron Boone, the batter. Hideki Matsui grounded out to first. The Red Sox tried to go for the double play when Millar threw down to second base, but was offline. So Posada made it second with 1 out. 8-0 Boston, 5th inning. Boone lined sharply to the third baseman Miller in his first at bat. He pulls one sharply foul. Are you gonna have enough room up there in the Green Monster seats for all the people you keep inviting?
Oh, sure. There's plenty of room. If not, we can do it in shifts.
We've invited everybody you've come in contact with over the last 2 weeks.
We'll be fine. We got plenty of room. Should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it tomorrow. I know they've done a lot of work, obviously, back in Boston. And I tell you, the people are excited to see the boss the next 2 nights at Fenway Park.
Very excited. Check swing and a foul ball. Any chance the boss might come by our little tailgate?
I don't know.
Say hello. I mean, I know before a show is probably focused.
It's kind of like players, you know, they have their certain routine. I mean, you never know. It's possible, but our people could not really be in contact with his people and try to square that down. So, you know, who knows? You never know. As long as you're there, it doesn't matter.
Good try, but I'm not going for that. Boone pops into the upper deck. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to take your private jet back, or have your driver take you back and forth?
I have a couple of options. I'm going to obviously fly back in the afternoon, and the option is to take a limo back after the concert or catch the last shuttle, one of the two. So we'll see.
You're not a catch the last shuttle kind of guy, Jerry.
We'll see how it goes.
You're a limo kind of guy. 1-2 pitch, and he just does stay alive.
Actually, our whole crew is going back. Mike Marachi's going to go back, and Greg Petranzio. Pat Cavanaugh can't get back. But all the guys we work with day in and day out are going to come back to Boston.
Why can't Pat Cavanaugh go?
He's got a lot of preparation work to do for Sunday's game, according to him. Sounds kind of fishy to me, but
since that's obviously nonsense, that has me wondering exactly what the real story is. Swing and a miss. Boone strikes out. 7 strikeouts for Pedro. He's had at least one in every inning.
Curveball this time doing the honors of Pedro Martinez. All his pitches working tonight. His fastball, his curveball, and also the changeup. I'll get a chance too. I'd like to say happy. You hear me refer to the oil baron on occasion from Cambridge.
Yes.
Frank Riley and his wife Dot celebrating their 50th anniversary. So congratulations to the oil baron and the oil baroness.
A little easier to stay married when you're married to an oil baron.
Exactly. And he can't be there tomorrow because it is his 50th anniversary, but he was invited also. I invite everybody. Everybody I go by, I invite.
Wouldn't that be a nice way to
celebrate it? Yeah.
Celebrate, bring her to the show.
I think he promised her an around the world, like on his private jet kind of, like a surprise to her. They're going to go to like Italy and then France and everywhere. And so we'll see how it turns out. But the guy's got tons of money. He's a big oil man in Cambridge.
I didn't know there are oil wells in Cambridge. Where are they drilling? Kendall Square?
In his backyard.
Garcia behind in the count 0-2. He swung at one about ankle high. That elicited a groan from the crowd here. He hit that ball down the first baseline in the 3rd inning that struck the bag, went up in the air. Millar fielded it with a bare hand and flipped to Martinez on a bang-bang play for the out. Red Sox 8, Yankees nothing. Wanted the high fastball, and Garcia just got it. Of course, last Friday night, Red Sox with a big win to start that series, and you think with Pedro going on Saturday, here's the chance to really make the move on the Yankees, and that loss looked like it might send the Red Sox in the wrong direction. The whole Manny situation flared up. Red Sox lost the last 2 and actually lost ground to the Yankees in the standings. Made some up during the week, and they're in good shape to make some up tonight. Martinez strikes out Garcia, and after 5, it's 8-0 Boston.
After years of analyzing, refining, and perfecting, Lexus engineers had to face the most difficult challenge of all: letting go. Introducing the new, more powerful ES330.
Try a delicious breakfast sandwich on a freshly baked bagel from Dunkin' Donuts. It's just the thing you've been waiting for. Stop by today for any one of our delicious breakfast sandwiches, including the new sourdough bagel sandwich for just $1.99. Just the thing.
South Station, please. Oh, sorry. Hi, I'm trying to pick a health plan for my company. Who do you have?
Well, my company picked Tufts Health Plan.
Oh, how come?
To get access to the best care.
Oh, that's key.
Yeah, I gotta have the best care for my kids.
Yeah, now do only rich people use that plan, or?
Oh, no. They have options that work in every budget. Now, maybe that's why they're the highest in member satisfaction again.
I knew that. All right. You're so great. Hi. Thank you.
Tufts Health Plan. No one does more to keep you healthy. It's the unexpected touches that make an anniversary special. The Lincoln Mercury Anniversary Clearance has been extended. Your last chance for end of the model year savings on every remaining 03 Lincoln and Mercury, including our great lineup of SUVs, Lincoln Navigator, the new Lincoln Aviator, and the award-winning Mercury Mountaineer with no-charge leather seating surfaces. Now get 0% APR for 60 months or up to $4,000 cash back, plus your dealer's best model year-end price. Hurry to your New England Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Red Sox baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. The best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser. And Red Sox baseball rolls along on this Friday night from Yankee Stadium. 8-0 Red Sox. They scored 3 in the first, 1 in the second, and 4 in the third to knock Andy Pettit out of the ballgame. Jeff Weaver's pitched very well, 2 2/3 innings of scoreless relief. And his first pitch of the 6th, the strike to Manny Ramirez. Manny singled to knock in a run in the first and scored. Walked and was stranded in the second and was called out on strikes to end the third. That strikeout was against Weaver. The hit and walk against Pettit. Tuned in late, Pettit lasted just 2 1/3 innings. Gave up 8 earned runs on 9 hits and 3 walks. He struck out 5 through 70 pitches. Red Sox got 3 runs on 5 singles in the first inning. They scored a single run in the second. Merloni a leadoff walk, advanced on a ground out and scored on a single by Nomar Garcia-Parra. And then 4 runs for Boston in the third. They loaded the bases for Johnny Damon with 1 out, and Johnny tripled down the right field line. And then he scored on a single by Bill Miller. A triple knocked out Andy Pettit. Red Sox trying to run their record to 4-0 in this road trip. 1 in Philadelphia in the makeup game. Won both games in Chicago. And lead tonight 8-0. 2 games to play here and then on to Baltimore.
And David Ortiz put on quite a show in that series in Chicago. The 2 home runs and pulling one, going to the opposite field with the other.
Two-2 pitch. Manny in a protective mode, lined it. Nice catch by the attendant down by the right field tarp. A line drive. That young man caught it. And emulating Manny, he flipped the ball into the stands. Look out. It was interesting to hear Dan Roach's conversation with Larry Lucchino, and I think, Jerry, you have to give the Red Sox high marks for the way they handled that whole situation with Manny. I think the one-day benching sent a message. Most importantly, the other members of the team.
Yeah. More importantly, you're exactly right, Sean. You know, there were a lot of guys that were very upset with what was going on. And, of course, the last thing the manager wants to do is take one of his best players out of the lineup. But when you have grumbling going on with the remainder of the guys who are out there busting their tail, have no choice but to do it. The only question was how long was it going to last, and I think it was perfect because he got his message across. He got a great player back in the lineup, and you didn't have to deal with it with an off day and coming in here to New York. And the key there is, as Dan mentioned, the support from the front office. That's so important because if a manager doesn't have that, you can't do things like he did.
And we've seen that in the past. You know, when Carl Everett would behave in an inappropriate manner and Jimmy Williams tried to deal with it, he didn't always have the backing of his baseball administration and ownership. Hit hard, a backhand stopped by Wilson, and the stretch by Johnson. Nice play. That might have been the hardest hit ball of the night by the Red Sox, and Ramirez retired 6-3.
Enrique Wilson taking a base hit away from Manny. He does it with the bat against Pedro. Now he does it with the glove against Manny. Seems like the Yankees always have that one utility guy. For many years, it was Luis Sojo.
He's back.
And he's back. Yeah, he's back with the Yankees.
He was managing in their minor league system and came out of retirement. And he's older than you.
Somewhere along the line, he'll get a big hit for him.
Ortiz trying to send one into the gap, and he will. 3 bounces to the left of the 385 mark. And Ortiz has another multiple hit night. He's 2 for 4 with a single and a 1-out double.
When do they name player of the week? I mean, that has to come up, what, on Sunday or Monday?
Yeah, Monday, I believe.
I mean, he's got to be the player of the week. 2 more hits tonight, an RBI tonight. This line drive into the gap for the easy stand-up double. Doesn't matter to him now, right-hander, left-hander. He's hitting everybody.
I guess the one thing nobody can figure out is how could the Minnesota Twins let this guy go?
I don't know. He's not a bad guy.
No, he's a good guy. He wasn't a high salaried player. He was a productive player, guy who hits for power on a team that doesn't have a lot of power in Minnesota.
Everything we hear about him with Minnesota, he was a great guy to have in the clubhouse. We've seen evidence of that here with the Red Sox.
Apparently it was a chance meeting reading Bob Holler's article in the Globe today. He ran into Pedro in the Dominican the offseason, mentioned his situation. Pedro picked up the phone and called Red Sox brass, said they needed to get Ortiz to Boston. Millar thrown out, and Ortiz with some good base running moves into third.
And now Ortiz shows you that blazing speed as he heads into third base. He made an actually nice read on that, because once the ground ball goes toward the third baseman, he could get a big lead off second base, and as soon as the throw goes across the diamond, he doesn't have very far to go. Here's Aaron Boone. He doesn't even look back Ortiz. So Ortiz is way off that second base bag, and no chance for Nick Johnson. As Ortiz gets to third base with the 2 outs. Always better there, obviously, scoring a wild pitch, pass ball, error. A number of different ways.
Should Boone have actually at least taken a peek?
Always take a peek back. Sometimes that's just enough to hold that runner. You take a look at him, he goes back a couple of steps, and that's the end of it.
Two outs. Ortiz at third. 8-0 Boston in the 6th. 1 ball to count on Jason Varitek. Jason singled to drive in the 3rd and final run of the 1st inning. And has struck out twice since. Once against Pettit, once against Weaver. Red Sox out hitting New York 12-2. Neither team has committed an error. Line to left and a base hit, and another run for Boston. And that was a big play on the base running, Jerry, because he probably doesn't score from second on that line drive in a left right at Matsui.
Exactly right. Does not run all that well, and of course that ball hit hard by Varitek, and they probably would have had to hold Ortiz at third base. Varitek, ball down and away again. Excellent hitting. Not trying to pull the ball. Take it to the opposite field. Red Sox pick up their 9th run.
Varitek's 2nd RBI of the night, giving him 82 for the year. That's the first run they've scored tonight against Jeff Weaver, who's given up 4 hits. Dixon checked his swing. Weaver throws him out. Trout now 1 for 4. That ends the inning. A run on 2 hits in the 6th for Boston. It's 9-0.